9 dinosaur myths you still believe.
Every dinosaur you've ever seen is probably wrong. Because out of more than 1,000 species we've discovered, we only know a handful of their actual colors. Some had stripes, some were red, and others were black with an iridescent shine. In fact, these are the only dinosaurs we actually know the
Still on my face. I think I need to redo that. 9 dinosaur myths you still believe.
Every dinosaur you've ever seen is probably wrong. Because out of more than 1,000 species we've discovered, we only know a handful of their actual colors. Some had stripes, some were red, and others were black with an iridescent shine. In fact,
So I'm gonna sound really stupid saying this. How the fuck did they figure out what colors the dinosaurs were if we do know which ones are red, which ones are black, which ones are so on and so forth? Because I thought we just have bones. I mean, we have science and shit, but how are you gonna figure out the color of it by the bone or the fossil? Unless there's like a fossilized feather that came off of this species. How? I mean, can a feather fossilize? No, I don't think a feather can fossilize. That's my thing. How the fuck do we figure out this bird was iridescent black? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
these are the only dinosaurs we actually know the color of.
How?
For the rest, from T-Rex to Stegosaurus, we have literally no evidence of color at all, which means every reconstruction you've ever seen is pure speculation. Color almost never survives fossilization, but in rare cases, an impression of the skin does, which means
No. This is just an impression of the skin on the rock. Because the impression of the skin on the rock, I mean, it could literally just be a different color because of the sun or the things around it. How the fuck are you supposed to figure out? Was it a Stegosaurus? No. Whatever fucking animal, whatever dinosaur that was, is red. Ankylosaur.
means even without their color, the way those scales are arranged can hint at patterns they had in life. So instead of the typical dinosaur you imagine, think of predators with tiger-like stripes or camouflage we've never even seen before. And if you've ever wondered how something the size of a bus could hunt at all, there's a T-Rex in this picture, and you probably can't see it. That's the power of camouflage. And now, that's just the surface, because the next myth, it's hiding right inside their bones. For a long time, we thought dinosaurs were basically like crocodiles, cold-blooded animals that relied on the sun for warmth. And honestly, that made sense. Until we started finding dinosaurs deep in the Arctic. That's when the problem flipped. Because if dinosaurs could live in the cold, they couldn't be like crocodiles at all. Dinosaurs had to be warm-blooded instead. Like birds, the only living dinosaurs which thrive.
Okay, I knew this. I knew that dinosaurs were warm-blooded and their closest relatives were birds. I knew that. So, one myth that I don't believe because I knew that. I learned that because my 3rd grade teacher told me. My 3rd grade teacher liked dinosaurs. Her name was Miss Barton.
Thrive in some of the coldest environments on Earth. And for a moment, it felt like we finally solved dinosaurs. But that answer broke just as fast. Because if massive dinosaurs like sauropods had bird-level metabolisms, they would have trapped heat so efficiently, they'd essentially cook themselves alive. So dinosaurs don't fit neatly into either box.
I jumped the gun.
That means we're still learning so much about them every day, including the fact that dinosaurs weren't the first giants to walk the land, and they weren't even close to the beginning of it either. Over 400 million years ago, before trees even existed, the largest things on land weren't plants or animals. They were giant fungus, with some reaching nearly 30 feet tall, turning the ground into something closer to an alien landscape than any forest today. And somehow, things only got stranger as time went on. Once plants took over, oxygen levels climbed even higher, and that's when insects took things a little too far. Giant millipedes like Arthropleura stretched.
Oh, hell no. Yo, imagine a giant millipede. Holy shit. 1 million legs on this giant fucking bug isopod motherfucking whatever the hell that is. Blech.
Over 8 feet long,
Hell
dragonfly
no.
insects such as Meganura rule the skies with wingspans the size of falcons. And of course, eventually, life took
Hell
another
no.
step. Before dinosaurs, the first truly large land animals weren't reptiles at all. They actually belonged to a lineage that would one day lead to mammals. And some, like Dimetrodon, grew sails taller than a grown man. So dinosaurs weren't the first giants to walk the earth. And the only reason we even know about any of them, dinosaurs included, is because a tiny fraction of them got lucky and fossilized. Which leads to the next mistake. We think we know where dinosaurs lived, but we really don't. I mean, sure, we have
I want to know if us as a species is going to continue or if we're going to evolve into something else. Like, because you know how we evolved from those little lizard looking things that stayed under the ground during the meteor that struck the earth that killed all the dinosaurs, and then they came out and then they started becoming us. I want to know what is after us. Like, will we go back to being dinosaurs? Will we go back to being the lizards? Will we go back, like, will we become dumb again? Will we lose consciousness in a sense? I want to know what is post-human. There's got to be something post-human, because how many years left? I don't even remember if either evolve or devolve. I mean, we either evolve or devolve. I mean, my thing is, in our lifetime, we will never know. We will have to go nearly extinct to evolve or devolve. Like, we'd have to have a meteor that struck the earth that killed humans instead of dinosaurs, or a zombie apocalypse would be a way that we technically devolve. I think it'd be considered devolving because it's zombies. But if it was intelligent zombies, it'd be evolving, because then we'd be eternal, because zombies can't die because they're already dead. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
look up skeletons on every single continent, from Allosaurus in North America to Hadrosaurs in Antarctica. But the truth is, our map of dinosaurs is full of blanks. Fossils don't form everywhere. Whole environments, rainforests, mountains, deserts, are practically black holes for them. That means entire ecosystems of dinosaurs have existed and left us no trace at all. Take the eastern United States. It's massive, yet its dinosaur record is almost entirely empty, and that emptiness totally distorts our picture of dinosaurs. It's like trying to learn about modern animals from a single zoo exhibit. We call Patagotitan or Argentinosaurus the biggest dinosaurs ever, but what are the odds we've actually found the true record holder? And the same goes for super predators like T-Rex. The fossil record is so incomplete that we're almost certainly missing animals even larger. Now think about places like the Amazon or the Congo. Rainforests are some of the worst environments for fossil preservation, but also some of the most biologically diverse places on Earth. If every animal living in those jungles vanished tomorrow, future scientists would barely even know they existed. So we can really only dream of what prehistoric life might have been out there. So, if the ground...
Yo, a moose triceratops? Yo, think about that. A moose triceratops? One fucking giant ass triceratops with like fucking two big ass antlers that stuck out of its head like this. Yo, that would be frightening as fuck. That's kind of crazy though, because if dinosaurs existed that lived in tropical areas, they just couldn't fossilize. That's crazy, because we don't know they existed. We would never know they existed unless we invent form of time travel. And us as humans cannot go through space and time. We are not like that. That would be dope as fuck though if we ever figured out like how to go back in time. I would be a test subject for that. I would sign myself up to be a test subject for that. No, I have a girlfriend. I would bring her with me. Okay, not actually.
Can't even show us where dinosaurs lived. It tells us even less about how they lived. Behavior almost never fossilizes, which means almost everything you see in documentaries, like herds migrating or predators ambushing, isn't recorded. It's reconstructed from what little fragmentary remains are left behind. They're good guesses, but the reality is,
Tony
behavior
Stark
disappears the moment it happens. However, every once in a while, a fossil captures a moment so clear it removes the guesswork entirely. Like the oviraptor, found sitting directly on its nest with its wings stretched protectively around its eggs. Or Psittacosaurus, preserved beside a cluster of juveniles. Proof that some dinosaurs likely cared for their young. And then there are the fighting dinosaurs. A velociraptor and protoceratops locked together.
This is genuinely the coolest. I've seen this. This image before. This is the coolest fossilization I have ever seen of anything. They literally got, like, as the meteor struck, they got killed while they were fighting, and the triceratops was biting the velociraptor. That is so cool. Like, it goes to show that these, I think triceratops, I don't know if it means that it's a herbivore or if it means it's a carnivore or if it's omnivore. I don't know what triceratops is. I thought it was a herbivore when I was younger. I don't remember what it was. But this could be like the velociraptors attacking the triceratops and it's trying to defend itself. So it's like, it's a strong species. It's so cool, bro. It's so cool.
In a battle to the death. Those rare moments are the only times fossils show us how dinosaurs actually acted. And one of the biggest things they reveal is that we completely misunderstand the herbivores. Because in reality, some were just as deadly, if not more so, than the predators. Getting into something like a Triceratops horn or an Ankylosaurus tail club would have been a fatal mistake. But with others, like hadrosaurs, that danger isn't so obvious. There's nothing about them that immediately screams danger.
These motherfuckers headbutt you, watch.
So they commonly get written off as easy prey. Except in many cases, that assumption couldn't be more wrong. Take Gigantosaurus, one of the largest non-sauropod animals to ever live. It stretched nearly 50 feet long and weighed more than 15 tons. At that size, sheer mass alone was enough to be lethal. And even the hadrosaurs that weren't built like tanks still weren't safe to mess with. A kick from one of those animals would have been powerful.
Wait. Oh my god, they're that much bigger than a fucking T-Rex?
Enough to seriously injure or kill a predator that got too close. But brute force wasn't their only option. Trackways show hadrosaurs moving together in big groups, which meant if a predator showed up, it could suddenly have 10 rushing at it. And for animals like Parasaurolophus, that response could spread fast. The hollow crest in its skull likely worked like a built-in horn, letting it call out and warn others. So these weren't easy prey at all. For a predator like T-Rex, hunting them meant playing it smart. Because going after the biggest, strongest animals is how predators get killed. In the wild, a single bad injury can be a death sentence.
Dude, when I was younger, I thought T-Rexes were the biggest dinosaurs other than brachiosaurs. There's so many dinosaurs that we don't know about. It's... Oh my god, bro. Man, I'm so autistic.
And when you weigh 8 tons and only have 2 legs, the margin for error is tiny. That's why most of T-Rex's targets weren't full-grown adults. They were the young, the sick, or the already dying. So that famous T-Rex versus Triceratops showdown, it probably never played out the way we picture it. It probably looked more like this. A hadrosaur vertebrae with a T-Rex tooth still buried inside it. The bone around the wound had started to heal, which means the animal somehow got away. But the important part isn't that it survived, it's that it was bitten in the tail, meaning the Tyrannosaur likely ambushed its prey and struck from behind. But even with everything we know about T-Rex, people still love comparing it to one animal in particular. I'm talking about the age-old debate, T-Rex versus Spinosaurus.
Yeah.
This myth stuck around thanks to the collective trauma.
But Spinosaurus are water. They like the water. They like the swamp.
We all got from Jurassic Park 3, but the reality is, these animals were nothing alike. T-Rex was built for land, armed with the strongest bite force of any land animal to ever live. Spinosaurus, on the other hand, wasn't the monster from the movies. It was a semi-aquatic hunter built for catching fish. So asking who would win...
And they weren't that good at it. Yeah, I'm just kidding. They were I mean, the video I saw on it, like, it was a couple weeks ago. If it was like, if they got put into nowadays, if the Spinosaurus would be able to fend for itself, Not very well. It had to evolve. It wasn't very good at it. Spinosaurus, fucking scary. Imagine seeing that nowadays. Like you're just walking across, like in the forest, and you see a lake, and then you see a giant fin.
It's like asking who wins between a shark and a lion. But this is a bigger problem than just one bad matchup, because pop culture doesn't just mash animals together, it mashes time together. Megalodon and the dinosaurs get shoved into the same era all the time. And it makes sense. When you hear a giant prehistoric predator, your brain puts them into the same box. But the timeline says they don't belong together at all. Megalodon showed up after the dinosaurs were already extinct, around 23 million years ago, when the whales that evolved to hunt were taking over the oceans. At nearly 60 feet long and over 60 tons, it became one of the largest predators to ever exist. And unlike the dinosaurs, Megalodon lived uncomfortably close to us humans, dying out only 3.6 million years ago, practically yesterday in Earth's.
I watched the movie Meg. Actually, I actually rewatched the movie Meg a couple weeks ago. That movie is so ass. I feel like the Megalodon wasn't that big though. There's no shot in hell the Megalodon was that big, bro. I don't believe it.
And those are the biggest dinosaur myths you might still believe. But before I go, I want to shout out one of my coolest subscribers, Wes. His mom reached out and said he's a big fan of the channel and that it's his birthday. So have a very special birthday, Wes. For the rest of you,
Happy
YouTube
birthday,
thinks you'll like
Wes.
this video,